So you want to learn how I can cope with the unexpected? Well, I'm going to jump right into it. Hi, this is Jan from New York City, and I'd like to help people save money. How's everybody doing this afternoon? Hope you're doing well. Listen, a few years ago, when you live in a city like anywhere else, there are things that come up that are like, what? All right. So for years and years and years, years ago, I bought a beautiful gas stove. And I mean beautiful. Not one time in the history of getting this stove, it was a gift for my parents, from me. And it meant a lot to me because I bought it at the right old age of 17. And that's how long the darn thing lasted. And it never quit. So this is not about the actual appliance. Imagine that. I bought it in a store that's been long defunct. I can tell you that much. But the stove itself never quit. However, the city was undergoing some sort of thing where our local utilities, gas and electric company, was going around and shutting off gas in buildings, okay? Because they may have detected a slight gas leak. Now, more importantly than anything else, and I'm grateful that when this small gas leak was detected by that utility company, because they always went around inspecting, they immediately shut off this line to this building. This was not the only building of which this happened to. This was about, let me think, let me get it right. I would say this happened about 5 or 6 years ago. Okay. And at that time, I'd already known Steve Young from the Steve Young 74 channel. That's how long ago. This was quite a while ago. So we're thinking, okay, this is only going to last. I mean, even the owner may have thought it's only going to last a short duration till the city fixes this problem or whatever. And meantime, so this is what I mean by the unexpected. When your stove is off in your home or apartment, you have to readjust. Okay. You have to readjust in a hurry. So we're thinking this is only going to last maybe a few days, a week or two, maximum a month. Wrong, wrong. This thing was not corrected until they resolved the issue by saying, the heck with the gas stoves, just not going to go back to that. And even my beautiful stove, had to be removed so that they can replace it with the electric ones. I'm not going to lie to you, in my opinion, although electric stoves are pretty to look at and they're so cute and all this and all that. To me, nothing bakes better than a gas oven. But that's me. Maybe I have a little sentiment to it. I don't know. But to me, there was nothing. To me, everything bakes better in a gas oven. I don't know. I'm just a little old fashioned set in my ways. And plus, there was nothing wrong with the stove. That's why it was hard saying goodbye to it. But anyway, but there was shockingly, it was a 14 to 15, not a week, months that we had to do without our gas stove. So we had to cope. No choice. Had to cope. Of course, the landlords, offer those little the kind like you use in a student dorm room. What do you call those things? Hot plate type thing in the interim. Of course, people use microwaves and everything. My mom was never a microwave fan. I've always had microwaves, but my mother didn't want one. So I was like, okay, whatever you say, mom. So that made life a little tougher to say the least. But we learned how to cope. So what did we do? We ended up getting, those electric kettles. That's the one I always refer to whenever I'm heating up water. And by the way, to this minute, I still have that electric kettle of which that I make my instant coffee or hot chocolates or tea at any time. They are a pleasure. So, out of bad comes good. I learned about these things. And let me tell you, I highly recommend it. And no, this is not a sponsored ad for Hamilton Beach. But I'm telling you, if you take that with you wherever you go, if you could just plug it in, you always have some nice drink or soup or whatever. You could just take it with you. They are amazing. All right. So that I got used to using. Okay. Then I, dusted off my slow cooker. And I don't know, didn't work. So I ended up getting a new slow cooker, but I didn't want a huge one because it was just, mom and me. So, of course, to have the smaller ones, which were our needs, was perfect. And I have to tell you, that's what got us through the slow cooker and the electric kettle. Okay. And if I did want to, I could use those, hot plate. What I did not do, much to my chagrin, because to be honest, and I'm not going to lie to you, I was unaware of electric skillets. Hello, that would have made life a lot easier. But live and learn, live and learn. So the bottom line is, and at the end of the day, we got used to it. I mean, the world did not fall off its axis because we had to find another way, an alternative way to meals. Some nights, for example, I would plan sandwiches, for example. Later on, this is after my mom went home. Later on, I says, you know what, Jen? Just in case anything like this ever happens again for some reason, you get yourself an air fryer. To me, I think an air fryer is a little healthier to use than a microwave. So in effect, effectively an air fryer is kind of sort of like its own little oven because you can like heat it up to the oven temperature and like throw in things that are frozen and bake them more type thing. So to me, it's almost like using an oven, if you will. It's like a mini oven, in my opinion. But I don't know if they would classify it that way. Maybe some do. Depends on the model that you use. But the bottom line, we have to learn how to cope. Sometimes we have to invest a couple of dollars. But I'm telling you one thing, the day that that thing happened with the shut off, that was totally unexpected. That was not on my radar screen of life. I didn't know on that very morning, the last time I made breakfast on my gas stove. I didn't know that would be the last time I would make breakfast on that perfectly usable gas stove, which actually I am curious to know whatever happened to it. They probably sold it, whoever, but whatever. But that's okay. We got the value back in the new electric stove, so it's not like a really loss, if you will, more like a sentimental loss. But I do think gas stoves did work better. But we managed to cope. What goes on in your life? How many of you out there? I mean, you don't even have to answer this in the comment section below. There are some people that normally as a way of life, do not use their stove. They don't have a stove. They may be working only with a microwave or only with an air fryer. And by the way, I have to say, now it's a lot better options than it was, let's say, 30 years ago. Okay, like, we have those air fryers, we have that Instapot. We have so many alternative appliances. I know someone that uses a toaster oven. Remember those? Toaster oven mainly. There are ways to cope. Is there anybody out there that went through like that shut off your stove for a while experience who's listening? And how did you cope? Cope, you will. It's a beautiful story. Why? Because we are given the gift and the ability to do such thing. So there are ways and there are ways. And I'm just so glad that we live in a world of options if certain appliances break down, but always be prepared that that possibility can happen to whom? All of us at any given time. Just saying, just saying. Well, anyway, I'm going to try to find my outro. Be right back. Oops. That's what I get for scrolling too fast. I ended up with an intro. Anyway, have yourself an amazing day. Take good care. Bye bye.